What is up to all 1,939 of y'all? Honestly, let me just go ahead and start this off real quick. I don't know what to say to get y'all to realize how genuinely surprised I am to make it this far. I am 60 people away from 2,000 subscribers on here, and I don't know what I'm doing, but I hope I'm doing it right. And to the people who might unsubscribe to me after making this video, thank you for sticking around as long as you did. I 100% appreciate it. And I'm sorry I didn't really quite cut the mold to be a mainstay in your subscriptions. But I am glad that you did manage to show up and help a bro out for whatever it was. But obviously, as you can tell from I keep on forgetting that this camera is mirrored. If you could tell from this, it was my birthday a couple of days ago, and actually I got this from my job, and I want to take this time to actually like outside of the payment at my job, I thoroughly 100% actually do like my job. Or rather, I don't hate it. I'll say that. Every so often, I do come across a consumer who is very frustrating and a little obnoxious at times. But outside of the obvious consumer who's had a bad day and wants to take it out on everybody, I do find myself genuinely enjoying my job. I like talking to people. I don't mind putting boxes back up, and also it's a bit of a workout because there's some things that are like ground level, and in order for me to get down there to pick up the stuff, I have to do a squat. So I got to get, it's a good way to stay in shape. So and this was actually like a really nice time because they did give me a bit of a surprise birthday party in my at at work at the break room. It was nice. It was really, I enjoyed it. You know what I mean? It was, and it was definitely like one of those moments where I didn't know, like, because here's the thing, my birthday was actually like, I want to say the day before. So like they found out that it was my birthday and still decided to, give me a little surprise birthday party after, because I wasn't there for it. I was at a wrestling show yesterday that I posted up on my alternative YouTube, and hopefully y'all watch that. I don't really want to reiterate everything that happened over there, but I did go over there, and I was sad the day of my birthday because Cameron, my friend who died, his birthday is on the 11th and mine is on the 12th. So for the rest of my life, I'm gonna be reminded that October 11th, that's a special day for me now. You know what I mean? Also, oddly enough, a lot of people that I find myself like being connected to is born between the October 10th and the October the 14th. So somewhere in there, I always find myself just sort of like, interacting with people, and it's almost like I always end up finding out after we've been like homies for this long. It's like, wait, what day is your birthday? It's beautiful. It's like, just like Libra gang. Yes, I do like astrology. I do like astrology, so I do carry my Libra-ness with me. But yeah, I did find myself, going over there just like, like I said, I watched the show. It was fun. I did kind of help out with the show. That part was kind of fun. I mean, work is work. You know what I'm saying? Work can be a little frustrating at times, but like just being at that place is it's just a good feeling, man. But obviously, because it was my birthday, I did get a call from my brother. He from one of my brothers, he did call me up and like let me know that he tell me happy birthday. And sometimes our conversations get a little bizarre because we're clearly on two different wavelengths mentally. Like I am who I am, and he is the guy that he is. I can only describe it from there. But at some point we were talking, and he references Terrence Howard. So I figured now's a good time to talk about Terrence Howard. Now I need y'all to understand real quick. I'm talking about Terrence. I'm not talking about Terrence Howard, but like just in general. Because I never saw. I didn't see the Terrence Howard video. I just saw all the jokes dedicated to him, but I didn't see the thing itself. But it kind of made me want to talk about this. I had a whole bunch of stuff I wanted to talk about in this one. I wanted to talk about like politics, the fact that I found that show, the Irrational and Found, are like two of my favorite shows now, even though there is romantic overtones, and I am not a fan of fictional romance, but I mean, like, I accept it because writers can't seem to write anything without sprinkling romance in. It's like it's but outside of the romantic elements, the shows themselves are actually really good. I love these shows, so I wanted to talk about that, and then I also wanted to talk about politics around. And but like, I figured now's a good time for me to talk about this little discussion I had with my brother, um, or rather, I want to talk about my feelings about that conversation because I feel like the older we get, the younger we want to be. Because essentially, at the very end of it all, we just want naps and food. Feed me, let me take my nap, leave me alone. And I feel like that's all we want as adults, as grown-ups. So we just want a place to rest our head. We just want to be fed, and left alone. I need to find a word that rhymes with bed and fed that also means to leave alone. Because I want to be able to say bed, fed, something else. Not dead. um, but um, but like, it does feel like the older we get, the younger we want to be, and nobody wants to talk about that. Nobody wants to sort of make that into like the conversation or the belief or the whatever, because it's childish and immature. You know what I'm saying? Which, by the way, like, the only childish thing I will ever acknowledge is childish is bigotry. Is bigotry and the obsession to control somebody else. Like, those are two of the most immature things to me, because you're supposed to outgrow these things when you get empathy, and some people don't grow empathy. Some of them they're just like walking around still thinking it's like middle school, or LOL, I'm gonna make fun of you because it's funny to me. Like, that's the most childish stuff. But the fact of the matter is that, like, but we all want. But there is another aspect that I feel like we have as adults that we just don't address, and that is that we all essentially kind of want to go back to school. And I don't mean like back to the physical building with the chairs and the other students and the guy, and somebody sitting in front of a whiteboard, and the square of a negative number is going to be that number times the letter I, because I is an imaginary number. Imaginary number that's not real. We have real numbers, and then we have numbers that aren't real. Stuff like that. So y equals mx plus b, that is called a slope-intercept form. That's how you solve for x and y. So you can find the 2 points on it. Stuff like that, and just things like that. And in history, the Great Depression was a result of, you see, but we don't want that. I feel like what we want is to be lectured by somebody who we feel understands us enough to make something complicated sound easy. You know what I mean? Because if the smartest person in the room sounded like Ben Stein, you're not going to want to listen to what that guy says. You're going to be like, boo, you're boring, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? You want somebody who's going to talk to you like how you would want to be spoken to. And the problem is, you probably might not even know how you want to be spoken to when it comes to certain things. But you do know that you're going to look for the most charismatic person. You're going to look for someone that kind of, I forgot the word already. I'm drawing a blank here. But you want somebody that you can connect with, right? I don't want to use the word charisma, because charisma means that, like, everybody kind of like draws himself to you, and to me, charisma has everything to do with looks and less about this aesthetic force that people just want to be drawn to you. I don't believe in that. I believe that it's looks. Somebody just looks at a person and goes, that person's hot, I want to go like listen to everything that they say forever. Or that person is saying stuff that I like to hear, and I want to listen to that person forever. Crap like that. But sorry. But like my whole thing is that like Lex falling asleep here. Hold on, and there we go. But the whole idea though is that like we all want somebody that we understand to tell us the smartest things, tell us stuff that we don't know, so we can know them. And while a part of me is okay with that, part of me doesn't like it because not a lot of people not everybody who talks is smart. Not everybody who talks smart is smart. I would never tell you that I'm a smart person. I would never tell you that I know things. I'll tell you that I'm learning about stuff, or that I'm picking up on certain things, or I'm trying to understand what things are. And I always say, the library is always good. The digital library is always good. Always find a way to like I always find a ways to like get connected with your library's website, because they have like a whole bunch of research stuff, or as I like to call it, free search, because it don't cost money to because a lot of stuff that they offer don't cost any money, and you could just get access to all of this information for free. You know what I mean? And it's a good feeling. All right, great. Now my legs falling asleep again. At some point, I gotta get a comfy chair or something. But but like the whole idea though is that like the reason why I don't like this idea of this search for a scholastic mind to tell you something is that like we live in a society nowadays, and I hate the phrase "we live in a society now" because everybody's like, "Oh, who are you, the Joker?" It's like, no, we actually do live in a society. We live with one person surrounded by a whole bunch of other people, and some of those other people may actually be just like you, but others won't be. All that together as a society. But we do live in a society where like anybody can information can be provided so much more now. We can all provide our own information. It used to be I could never like get my voice out to this big of an audience beforehand, because I would have to like buy a deal or go on public television and hope that at least part of the city sees who I am. But that's not what it is anymore. I can just get on YouTube, yap for a little bit, upload it, boom. Whoever wants to see it can. We live in a world now where it's easier to not only get information, but to make information. And sometimes some of the people who make the information are either A, dumb, or B, have dubious means towards why they're doing what they're doing. And that's kind of the reason why I don't like the idea of looking for smart people to listen to, because not everybody is smart, and you should not be able to say, oh well, this person said, and then use that to depict it. You're supposed to be like, if this person says something, then you should probably check to see if it's right. And if it's not right, understand that while you might like this person for what they're saying, understand that they could be wrong here. There's a difference between understanding something, or the difference between listening to something and being devoted to it. You know what I mean? Like, there's no I don't think I'm capable of liking anybody as much as Trump supporters like Donald Trump, because they hang on his every word. He could say anything, and people will, and his most devout supporters will listen to him. And I know, why are you talking about Trump, man? Why does it have to be about Trump? The reason why is because he's the closest thing to what I'm trying. He's the closest thing to the best example I got. I mean, like, you don't have to, like, it doesn't even have to be Trump. It could be Myron Gaines. It could be Andrew Tate. It could be Marjorie Taylor Greene. Anybody who just happens to be like, there's people out there with a fan base that is so vehemently loyal to everything that they're saying, because they're saying either they're saying that, like, I don't understand. I'm aware of why they might be doing it, but a little part of me is just a little disappointed in the fact that there's people out here who are adults. There are people. I don't have a degree. I'm not a smart person. You know what I'm saying? I don't have a degree. I didn't graduate college. None of that stuff. But like, even I can hear somebody say something that I know is wrong, and be like, just because that person said it doesn't make it any more right than any correct than it wasn't earlier. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, there's so, like, because sometimes it's okay to make a mistake. It's okay to be dumb. I feel like it's okay to be dumb, but it's not okay to lie about being dumb. You know what I mean? And my biggest problem is that like we live in a world nowadays where people are so ashamed of being dumb that they're willing to double down on the dumbest thing just so like because it's like, well, actually I'm so smart that the dumbest thing that I've heard is actually smart to me because of conspiracy theory style reasons and whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, no, dude, you're just saying the wrong, you're just doubling down on something that's incorrect because you don't want to feel dumb that you got duped into believing it. And honestly, you should feel, and honestly, you're not a dumb person for being duped by it. You're a dumb person for getting introduced to situations that disproves what you're saying and still saying, I'm still going to believe this thing. You know what I'm saying? And the problem is because like people don't want, because people go by their feelings and their emotions. But it's like, my whole thing is that like, there's certain things, everything is too nuanced to just be 100% devoted to. You know what I mean? It's way too nuanced. There's way too much that goes into this stuff. And way too many times there's people out there who are smart enough or who are rich enough to present themselves as something bigger than they actually are. I'm just a dude talking online. If I say something that you think is incorrect or something that's wrong, I have no influence. I'm not going out telling people to do certain things or be a certain way or present like I think the only thing I ever tell anybody to do is like be kind to each other, be nice to each other, and hype up the local library. Just basic concepts that I feel like everybody either A does already or B wouldn't hurt if you did. You know what I'm saying? But you got people out here who is basically saying, the ghost of George Washington is the reason why money keeps getting more and more worthless. So what you want to do is you want to satisfy the ghost of George Washington by throwing dead animals into the water and saying that the immigrants did it. Some weird stuff like that. You know what I mean? And there's people out there who's going to listen to somebody say that because they say it in this voice and they sometimes whisper into a microphone. Do you ever, and also end it with these types of things, do you ever wonder why that is? Do you ever sometimes sit back and wonder why that is? Well, you don't have to worry about it because I know why that is. And I'm going to tell you all of that right now. Do you see? It's crazy, man. We live in a world nowadays where people want to be people want to have all the answers, but they also want to get all the answers from somebody who's going to give them all the answers that they want to have. And my whole thing is, don't do that. You got free search right there at the library. You can don't be. I always say approach everything with skepticism. You know what I mean? Because everything changes. Everything gets nuanced every now and again. Don't be devoted to something to a point where it changes, where it you find yourself changing your perspective of reality just to appease this viewpoint. That's not what understanding things are. You know what I mean? Like I for one, I say this all the time. I'm a big fan of professional wrestling. But if you told me professional wrestling was perfect, I would tell you it is not. It is not. There has been so many imperfect times among so many wrestlers outside of the WWE that I have to acknowledge. If I want to be a true fan of professional wrestling, I have to acknowledge the imperfections as well. If I want to be truly devoted into something, I have to acknowledge the fact that things aren't going to be perfect. And things aren't always going to give me the things that I want. But if I'm loyal enough to it, that won't matter. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm giving mixed signals, but my whole thing is that nobody is smart enough to a point. Nobody should be smart enough to disprove something that you believe for. That not necessarily something that you believe, but something that just is. You know what I mean? Like if a colorblind person tells you the sky is gray, right? You can always say the sky is gray to you, but it's not gray to me. You know what I mean? You don't have to disprove what they're saying, but you don't have to disprove what they're saying, but you don't have to agree with it either. Does that make sense? But also don't believe lies. That's kind of what I was trying to get to. Don't believe lies. Don't be so devoted to what somebody else is saying or doing. Don't get so locked up into the charisma of a person. Don't like somebody so much to a point where you're willing to believe outright blatant lies that they're telling you. You know what I mean? Like, you can always twist the truth up in certain ways, but you shouldn't lie. They shouldn't be able to say something and you hear them say it and then they say, I didn't say that afterwards. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, though, let them explain themselves, because once again, everything is nuanced. But just don't use devotion to believe lies. But also, if people change for the better, let them be able to do that, because not every evil person is going to stay evil. But for those that do, don't believe them if they lie to you. I don't know where I was going with this. Nobody is smart. Nobody is smart enough that they know everything. So question everything. And if you want to question everything, learn everything. If you want to learn everything, then you're still not going to know everything, but at least you'll know more than you did the day before. Learn for yourself. And don't be afraid to learn about stuff that you don't like or don't understand. Because if you find a decent enough source to help you understand things a little bit better, then you will. Also, don't listen to conspiracy theorists. A lot of the times they're just grifters trying to, sell fear. I really don't know where I was going with this. Love, peace, happiness. Take care of each other. Be kind to each other. Being mean is mainstream, so be punk rock instead. Also, hype up your libraries. Gas up your libraries like crazy. Do think like not if you can't go to the physical building, go to your library's website and just look at resources that they have and just see what they got. You know what I'm saying? Because they got some cool stuff in there. I know it. I want to say that every single one of them has like language learning stuff and stuff about how to learn about cars and health and money. I think money too. But yeah, that's about it though. Love, peace, happiness, safety, and be cool. Y'all be cool.